Hello children, we will be continuing our discussion on political formations in 18th century and cover the old Mughal provinces and Watan Jagirs in this video. So let's start with the old Mughal provinces. In the 18th century, among all the old Mughal provinces, three states stand out very prominently. These were Awadh, which was founded by Saadat Khan, Bengal, founded by Murshid Quli Khan, and Hyderabad, founded by Asaf Jah. All three had occupied high mansabdari positions and enjoyed the trust and confidence of the emperors. Both Asaf Jah and Murshid Quli Khan held a Zat rank of 7,000 each, while Saadat Khan's Zat was 6,000. Hyderabad. Nizamul Mulk Asaf Jah, the founder of Hyderabad state, was one of the most powerful members at the court of the Mughal Emperor Farrukh Siyar. Asaf Jah was entrusted first with the governorship of Awadh and later given charge of the Deccan. Asaf Jah already had full control over its political and financial administration as governor. Taking advantage of the disturbance in the Deccan and the competition amongst the court nobility, he gathered power and became the actual ruler of the Deccan. Asaf Jah brought skilled soldiers and administrators from northern India who welcomed the new opportunities in the south. He appointed Mansabdars and granted Jagirs. Asaf Jah was a servant of the Mughal emperor, but he ruled quite independently without seeking any direction from Delhi. The Mughal emperor merely confirmed the decisions already taken by the Nizam. The state of Hyderabad was constantly engaged in a struggle against the Marathas to the west and with independent Telugu warrior chiefs of the plateau. The ambitions of the Nizam to control the rich textile producing areas of the Coromandel coast in the east were checked by the British, who were becoming increasingly powerful in that region. Awadh. Burhanul Mulk Saadat Khan was appointed Subedar of Awadh in 1722 and founded a state which was one of the most important to emerge out of the breakup of the Mughal Empire. Awadh was a prosperous region, controlling the rich alluvial Ganga plain and the main trade route between North India and Bengal. Burhan-ul Mulk also held the combined offices of Subedari, Diwani and Fauzdari. He was responsible for managing the political, financial and military affairs of the province of Awadh. He tried to decrease Mughal influence in the Awadh region by reducing the number of office holders appointed by the Mughals and appointed his own loyal servants. He also reduced the size of Jagirs and appointed his own loyal servants to vacant positions. The accounts of Jagirdars were checked to prevent cheating, and the revenues of all districts were reassessed by officials appointed by the Nawab. Burhan-ul Mulk seized a number of Rajput zamidaris and the agriculturally fertile lands of the Afghans of Rohilkhand. The state depended on local bankers and Mahajans for loans. It sold the right to collect tax to the highest bidders. The revenue farmers agreed to pay the state a fixed sum of money. Local bankers guaranteed the payment of this contracted amount to the state. In turn, the revenue farmers were given considerable freedom in the assessment and collection of taxes. These developments allowed new social groups like moneylenders and bankers to influence the management of the state's revenue system, something which had not occurred in the past. Bengal. Bengal gradually broke away from Mughal control under Murshid Quli Khan, who was appointed as the Naib, deputy to the governor of the province. He very quickly seized all the powers. Like other rulers, he also commanded the revenue administration of the state. To reduce Mughal influence in Bengal, he transferred all Mughal Jagirdars to Orissa and ordered a major reassessment of the revenues of Bengal. Revenue was collected in cash with great strictness from all zamindars. As a result, many zamindars had to borrow money from bankers and moneylenders. Those who were unable to pay were forced to sell their lands to larger zamindars. The formation of regional state Bengal in 18th century led to considerable change amongst the zamindars. The close connection between the state and bankers noticeable in Hyderabad and Awadh as well as was evident in Bengal under the rule of Alivardi Khan between 1740 to 1756. During his reign, the banking house of Jagat Seth became very prosperous. Common features among states. Though many of the larger states were established by erstwhile Mughal nobles, they were highly suspicious of some of the administrative systems that they had inherited, in particular the Jagirdari system. Their method of tax collection differed. Rather than relying upon the officers of the state, all three regimes contracted with revenue farmers for the collection of revenue. The practice of ijaradari, thoroughly disapproved of by the Mughals, spread all over India in the 18th century. The rich bankers and merchants lent money to revenue farmers, received land as security and collected taxes from these lands through their own agents. These people were gaining a stake in the new political order. Now we'll talk about the Watan Jagirs of the Rajputs. Rajput kings, especially those belonging to Amber and Jodhpur, served under the Mughals with distinction. In exchange, they enjoyed considerable autonomy in their Watan Jagirs. In the 18th century, these rulers attempted to extend their control over adjacent regions. Ajit Singh, the ruler of Jodhpur, was also involved in the factional politics at the Mughal court. The influential Rajput families claimed the subadari of the rich provinces of Gujarat and Malwa. Raja Ajit Singh of Jodhpur held the governorship of Gujarat and Savai Raja Jai Singh of Amer was governor of Malwa. These offices were renewed by Emperor Jahandar Shah in 1713. Rajputs attempted to extend their territories by seizing portions of imperial territories neighboring their watans. Nagpur was conquered and annexed by Jodhpur, whereas Amer seized large portions of Bundi. Savai Raja Jai Singh founded his new capital at Jaipur and was given the Subedari of Agra in 1722. Maratha campaigns into Rajasthan from the 1740s put severe pressure on these kings and checked their expansion of empire. So, with this we have come to an end of with today's topic. Left out topics we'll discuss in the next video. Thank you.